And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. And Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, we have a great show for you today. Captain Mike Pritchard from the Tribute's in here joining us. We're going to be talking all kinds of fishing, great info. Corey and I in the studio with you, talking fishing and having a great time doing it. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090.
You've heard all about it. You know the anglers catching fish have it, so what's holding you back? It's a fact. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. You can get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Martin Island, 365 days a year. FishDope.com is for everyone, whether you have your own boat, fish on your friend's boat, or a sport boat. FishDope.com has online planning tools, moon phase, tides, hot bite icons, and more. So bottom line is, if you don't have FishDope.com, well, you're probably missing a lot of bites. Membership costs less than $50 of gas, and that's for the entire year. That's right, 1 year. What a bargain. Plus, use the special code to save $20 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
San Diego. Do you need a vehicle that's built ready for your next adventure? Well, your San Diego County Ford dealers have you covered with the 2021 Ford Ranger. This adventure-ready truck is built with durable features like its frame-mounted step bumpers and high-strength steel frame. But that's not all. The Ford Ranger also has an available terrain management system with 4 selectable drive modes depending on what terrain you're on for optimum performance. Looking to tow your boat or trailer to your next adventure? No problem. The 2021 Ford Ranger can handle that too and has smart technology like Bliss with trailer coverage to assist changing lanes and makes driving so much better when towing your boat or trailer. Visit your nearest San Diego County Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com to learn more. That's buyfordnow.com and they'll be glad to hook you up.
All right. Good morning. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, man. Talking bluefin, talking good times today.
Yeah, you're not kidding. What a great time to have Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute in here. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, gang.
Boy, we're stoked to have you. And, man, what a season this has been, is still, is going to still. I mean, this has been a very, very fun one, and it's not easy to peel away a guy like yourself away from the boat. You've been running so much. We love hearing from you on Let's Talk Hookup. You do such a great job kind of keeping us in touch with what's going on, and we just appreciate you peeling you off the boat for a couple of days so you could come in and hang out with us this morning.
Yeah, no, it's, I don't know. If you ask my crew, they might disagree with that, being on the boat a lot right now, especially moving into a new house. But Captain Tyler got in this morning, just got in a little while ago with limits of bluefin. And
how crazy is that, man? A week of Thanksgiving?
If you want to really impress somebody at Thanksgiving, show up with a big sashimi platter.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've had people in the past go, you don't bring sashimi to Thanksgiving. You don't bring sashimi to Christmas parties. First thing that goes.
Always. Yeah,
Always,
no doubt.
You know, get one of those big aluminum platters, a little ramekin full of wasabi and some soy sauce. Bring some toothpicks with you and just watch it. It's amazing. People go, hey, can you bring any more of that?
You know,
yes.
The last few years, November has just been spectacular fishing, and here we go again. I mean, we're beyond. You know, we're in the bottom third of it, and limits of bluefin yet again on the Tribute. It's just it's so fun to watch, and
we finally have nice weather.
Right.
Isn't it?
We're having what we're supposed to have a month ago in October.
I don't know what happened in October this year. It was broken. Like
it's very broken.
It looked like July.
Yeah, wind and
canceling trips and being limited to where you could fish. This has been, our weather here recently. I was on the boat last weekend too, and when I called in talking about giant bluefin doing somersaults. It looks like you're in the harbor, just flat, greasy, calm. Yeah, really good sign of fish still. So
you could hear the excitement in your voice from the visuals, and we get lucky enough to talk to you all the time. You're always fired up when you call on the show, but last week seemed a lot different. What was the deal? Like, what was going on? How did the trip go? And what was it that got you guys so fired up?
Yeah, we had good fishing. And like I said, we lost a lot. We ended up landing a couple of big ones, but the visual side of it was just it was unreal. Like I said, there's a couple of times where I've been doing this for a long time, and where I start laughing and I get the phone out just because I have to sit there and record it. And one of the videos we posted, you can actually hear them. And that's the best part. You have 100 to 200 pound fish boiling and chasing bait up on the surface. There are some salaries mixed in, which when they're chasing those little baits, they're usually very active, jumping out of the water. And some of these things are getting 6-7 feet in the air.
Oh,
and
no way.
You can hear it in the video. It was a post from last week, but it takes a lot. When you look down and you look at some of your seasoned crew members and they're just laughing at themselves and watching it. It's worth the price of admission in itself. It's way better than whale watching.
That's so cool. Right? That is so cool. And so what's the grade of fish like now? We've kind of seen everything this year from, giant ones to small ones and lots of good mixed grade big fish. Like, what's it like right now? Obviously, the boat just came in with limits. What's going on currently?
A lot of it sounds like it was 15 to 40 pounds.
Perfect.
But it's something you can land.
Yeah.
And, those big bluefin are awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's actually nice sliding into a stop, bending the boat, and landing the majority of them.
Right.
Instead of, last weekend was the complete opposite, where you're sitting there and I think I told you about the one guy with the single speed Talica and the 50 pound. He gets bit, pulls on probably a 230 pound fish. We lost it at color. Finally,
heartbreaker.
The knot broke. Roll right back into another stop. He gets bit again and loses. And it's like, and you feel bad for him. And it's funny because I always say, you guys paid to do this, right?
you paid for that punishment.
Literally getting beat up by a fish, and you paid to do it. Well, this is the flip side. You go out there, and especially if you can fly line a bait on 25 or 30 pound, man, you can, you knock out. They knocked out limits in the afternoon. They went and looked for big ones. They picked up a yellowtail along the way, but that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You get the sweat off the boat, and then you get to go look for some big ones, do some flat fall fishing in the dark, and
totally.
You never know. We had a charter last month, Scott Gibbs. There had been a little bit of big fish around. Outside the Cortez, but the night before was non-existent. We were at the Tanner, and it was about an hour before sundown, and it's like, man, I don't know. It's a 25-mile move in the wrong direction. And you know what? We're gonna go for it. We get out there. I think we got out there like 9 o'clock or something. It was dark, and our first stop we got a 180 pounder. Second stop we bent the boat. I think we ended up getting 18 of those big ones.
Unreal.
Our charter master Scott lost a big one after like 2.5 hours, and after having it to color, it spooled him. And it gives you
so say that again. It was at color
on 80 pound, yes.
Then spooled him,
and that just. It's almost a joke. He looks at me and goes, "What do I do?" And I go,
"Hang on.
You can't don't let it actually spoil you." About 15 wraps, he held it and ended up breaking it off. But it shows you how amazing these fish are. That thing was at color like 3 different times, and it was getting close. And we had a bunch of other fish hanging, and I look up the side, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "It won't stop."
That's so cool.
It's unreal.
How fun, man! And you guys just took such advantage of it. What a great year for the tribute. It sounds like when you do the radio show, lots of day and a halves. Is that what the majority of what the tribute does at a C4 Sport Fishing, or do you really balance your schedule based on what the fish are doing? Like, how does it work, and what kind of run does the boat normally do?
We try to It's getting a little different now. We're putting up our schedule further and further in advance because that's what people want, and it's really hard to predict. And I really screwed up on this one because our September and October has been phenomenal yellowfin fishing for years and years, and that's something we've really taken advantage of. And we had our one-day schedule up, I think, September through October, and it was non-existent. So we ended up switching over kind of last minute. We definitely lost some momentum on that. But, having this bluefin bite right now and having it doesn't replace what was supposed to happen in October with the yellowfin, but we are definitely going to take advantage of it. We're hauling the boat out the first week of December. We are going to add a couple more trips next week. But we do have a Pizza Port sponsored trip tonight. That's I think it's only got 12 people on it. It's a for sure go.
Only 12 people.
And explain those. Those are so cool. We've heard you talk about it on Let's Talk Hookup before, but it's a very cool kind of bonus. The Pizza Port sponsored trips that you do.
Well, it's something that one of their marketing guys fished with us quite a bit, and they had actually approached us about putting the beer on the boat, and we had always used Ballast Point,
which is something you guys have always done. You've always had cold beers on the boat, but then from the very early on, you guys always kind of do that kind of stuff. Yet another level of comfort, another level of service, another level of quality, and you've always had some kind of premium beers on the boat.
Well, wouldn't you?
Totally. Right? You do when you're going with your buds, like.
Well, and that's the thing. One of the things that I carried from the Excel was, they started early on carrying the Ballast Point, and you start seeing people come on the boat, and they're like, "Wait, you have what?"
Yeah.
And it's you're not going to drink 10 Sculpin. Well, some people do 10, 20 Sculpins throughout the day, but it's nice to come in after pulling on a fish, and you have a nice variety of beer. You get to pick the IPA of your choice.
Totally.
But Pizza Port. We love to sponsor local businesses, and they're about as local as they get. So, like tonight's trip, it's free pizza for departure. Cool. We usually get, depending on how many people we have, but guys can have 2 or 3 slices of pizza. If you're driving down from LA, it's pretty bitching to get on the boat and grab a half price Pizza Port beer, and you're talking about getting one of their 16-ounce IPAs for $3. So
I think that's so cool. Yeah, I think it's such a cool
pizza,
thing.
Instead of having to stop at Wiener Schnitzel on the way down or something. So
right?
Yeah, it does work out very, very well.
And how often do you guys do those trips? Do you see that happening again in the next season?
Oh yeah, we're tonight's trip. We kind of changed our schedule around this coming week just to give the crew an extra day off for Thanksgiving, because it's always a great weekend, but it's so hard to tell somebody like, hey, I know you're going up to see your family, but you got to be down at the boat tomorrow.
Right.
Years and years of doing the day after Thanksgiving trip on the Excel, it's you make it work, and it's usually a very, very good time to go fishing. It's just hard on the crew. So the following day, instead of leaving Friday night, we have a Saturday night trip, and it's going to be a Pizza Port sponsored trip.
Cool.
So that you get, if you're off for a week for Thanksgiving, that works out pretty darn good.
Yeah, no doubt.
I would say.
Yeah, especially having limits of bluefin going on right now. That's cool.
And nice weather. I mean, it's like you were saying, this is what October should have been.
Yeah,
and here we are. And there's a good chance. I know a lot of guys are starting to do their maintenance and stuff, but we do still have a little bit of time, and we're going to be doing some Collinette trips.
Cool.
Sponsored trips. Seeker, Akuma, and Pelagic are all going to do some of the Collinette trips. So
cool. So there'll be like some giveaways and some just representatives on the boat, that kind of stuff.
The giveaways on these sponsored trips are ridiculous. I mean, we had our Akuma sponsored trip the other day with Dave Brown on it. I mean, there's guys getting $400 or $500 rods. I think he raffled off like 7 or 8 of them.
Wow,
everybody gets a hat. There's same thing on the Seeker sponsored trips, and Pelagic's always a really good one. They're raffling off $300 sunglasses, and there's been some of our sponsored trips in the past where guys actually make out.
No kidding, that's great.
I mean, you talk about those rods. I mean, that's that's 25% chance, really.
Yeah, on a trip we had 30 guys. I think there was there's something like that, 7 or 8 giveaways.
That's really cool.
You watch a guy get off the boat, and he's like, "Man," he goes, "This rod cost more than my trip did."
Right?
That's rad. Well, that's really cool and lots of fun. And you talked about maintenance. You guys always. It seems like you're always. I think that's one of the reasons why the Tribute is so comfortable is every year you're always doing things on the boat. And you've talked about that in the past, too. Even when things didn't necessarily need to get done, you push it forward anyways. And you're adding bait. The bait system was fine, but you wanted bigger and more you wanted more room for the guys. And you do interior and exterior. So the boat is just extremely comfortable. Maybe give us a little rundown of some of the projects that that you're most happy with that you've done to the Tribute since you guys have had it.
Oh, man. Well, it was, I think, 5 years ago. We redid almost everything. We had new engines, new generator, new bait tanks, new fuel tanks, new water tanks, new fish hold. That I don't ever want to see again. It was one of those things where now's the time.
Yeah.
Well, this is open, so now's the time to take care of this. And I am horrible about it, and it's one of those things that needs to be done. We added a second generator last year, which is huge. I mean, the boat's only had one generator for 55 years, and having the ability to switch over when you have an issue is, it's a game changer.
I'll bet.
And it's just a peace of mind, too, especially if you're 200 miles from home and, you're laying in your bunk and all of a sudden the lights go out. We'll just switch over and figure out what's going on.
Because things do happen. It's a boat. It's machinery, and that machinery runs 24 hours a day. Like, things do happen.
And it could be as simple as a filter or something simple. To be able just to switch it over and give yourself 10 minutes.
A lot of it lately has been components coming from overseas that just, you see it in a lot of different things that just fail. Yeah, it's you're like, I don't how'd that break? It's only been there for 2 days. So, but yes, that's a big one. We redid the crew rooms last year, which it does affect the passengers and it doesn't affect the passengers. Don't see it firsthand, but when a crew member comes rolling up out of his freshly done room we got recessed LED lights in the room, and it's a better night for the crew member.
Yeah.
They wake up happier, which carries on to the passengers and everything else. So this year is going to be a little bit of structural, a little bit of paint. And it's easy to say that we're not going to start anything, but I've never gone through a year where I didn't just like, hey, let's do this. And unfortunately, it's expensive.
But that's the reason why the boat of yours runs so good and it's so comfortable. You hear so many people on the show talking about loving fishing with you. You provide a very comfortable, clean, ship-shape atmosphere.
We've been running, we did, I think, about a month of maintenance last year. So we've been running every month since. We have not lost a trip due to maintenance, which is amazing. Like it takes some doing. Yeah,
when you think about what that machinery, what you're asking, I mean, and that's everything, refrigeration and, motors and mains and just everything. That's a knock on wood. Good on you guys.
On something, and these older boats, there's a lot of good ones out there. The Ditmars and, the Islanders sitting there, the Pacific Queen. A lot of these boats were made a long time ago. And if there's not constant upkeep or, progress, it's only going to go one direction. I still think it's funny, go down to the engine room, check the engine room, several times throughout the day, maybe even a couple times during a long drift. And you get guys going, why are you going down there so much? What's wrong? And it said, I wouldn't worry about the guy going down to check the engine room. It'd be worried about the people not going down to check the engine room.
Exactly.
You catch a lot of little things early on, and it's not a big deal.
Sure.
On the flip side, you let things go, and you end up stuck in a boatyard or something.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, no doubt. Well, we got a great show coming, so much to cover and so much great fishing, boy, not only just what's going on now, but Mike's career of, fishing local and long range and everything in between. Going to be a great show, a great info show, and a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Rick. A lot of fun this morning, actually, for the next 2 hours. And if you want to join us, 213-432-1090. That's the number to give us a shout. Talk with Mike from the Tribute. Check out this. I mean, if it wasn't only a day and a half trip that Mike has offered
so
for
gracious,
one lucky caller, right? So that'll go to one lucky caller. But he's actually sweetened it up a little bit. If you can go tonight, he will give you another spot. So you can go and you can take a buddy or a spouse or a friend or whatever you want to do. So talking about that pizza port trip and what time's at the departure?
9 o'clock. Don't eat dinner.
There it is.
So tonight's a pizza port trip.
Yes.
So the trip you're giving away, potentially, if a guy can go, wins the prize, can go tonight, and his bro can go, or his bud can go, you're getting that. You're getting free pizza on the way down. You're getting killer price on super high end beers.
The wife may not understand, so you can bring her, or you can,
Right, exactly. So,
that's awesome.
So how cool is that? Give us a shout, 213. I expect the lines to light up later right now, Mike. 213-432-1090. A day and a half trip, anytime through the year. Or you go tonight, you take a buddy, give us a shout, or text the app. Do it that way. We're going to be right back with Mike Pritchard from the Tribute when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090.
If you're looking for a high-quality cocktail that's also easy to enjoy on your next fishing trip, check out Cutwater Spirits' lineup of canned cocktails. Cutwater's master distiller and co-founder, Yusuf Cherney, is a hardcore fisherman. In fact, he developed Cutwater with all his favorite adventures in mind. Yusuf takes Cutwater's award-winning spirits, uses them to make real cocktails, and then puts them into cans so you can take them anywhere. It's like they were made for fishing because they were actually made for fishing. Check out their popular canned margarita made with real tequila, the zesty vodka mule, or the spicy Bloody Mary, which has some serious bite. They also make super refreshing vodka sodas in grapefruit, lime, and cucumber flavors. Just crack the can and enjoy a bar-quality cocktail even when there's no bar in sight. Back at the dock or at your evening anchorage in Catalina, Cutwater cocktails are exactly what you need for your next fishing trip. You can check out all 18 of Cutwater's canned cocktails at cutwaterspirits.com and then look for them at your local liquor store. Then go ahead and set your cocktail free. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hey anglers, AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance to staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at AFCO.com.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
When you want to catch big bluefin tuna, you need Shimano. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. The Shimano Beastmaster is the pinnacle of electric reels. Shimano's Gigamax motor packs a winding strength up to 250 pounds, ideal for kite fishing and more. Shimano's butterfly flatfall jigs are irresistible to bluefin tuna because they stay in the strike zone longer. Shimano makes a complete line of butterfly flatfall jigs to target your favorite game fish. For all your Shimano needs, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, if you missed the intro, giving away a day and a half trip on the Tribute. But if you can go tonight, you're one lucky individual because Mike's going to give you an extra spot. Two of you are going tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're going to open that up as availability to the text callers also. So if you're going to text the show, just let us know. In addition to texting your question to the show, which, again, is only available via the Let's Talk Hookup app, why don't you just include in there if you can swing it tonight, and then make sure that you include your contact phone number just so we can call you back in case any, if you're the lucky winner at the end of the show. And that was a Pete idea. Pete's listening at home. Obviously, if you guys didn't catch the show yesterday, Pete's surgery went great. We were hoping that he was going to be back in the studio, but said still a little sore in a recovery phase. Definitely looking forward.
Turn the corner.
Yep, yeah, exactly. That was I think the message yesterday. Turn the corner, feeling better, and certainly anticipating having Pete back next week. But surgery went great. He's kicking butt at home and just taking one more weekend off before he's up and doing the show and getting ready to go pull on some fish and paddle into some surf in no time, I'm sure.
No better week with Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But Pete's doing great if you didn't catch the show yesterday. So, again, if you want to get through, give us a call this morning, 213-432-1090, or text the show via the Let's Talk Hookup app. And in addition to your question, if you text in, let us know if you can make the trip tonight, and then also a phone number so we can call you back if you're the big winner. With that said, Corey, phones are packed up. Everybody's excited to talk to Mike. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah, limits of bluefin. I'd be excited too. Let's go to Don. Don from Woodland Hills. Good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup, Don.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. First of all, Pete, get well. Happy Thanksgiving, and happy Thanksgiving to you guys and all my friends out there listening on Let's Talk Hookup. Mike, I was sitting here listening to your intro, and I feel really bad for that guy pulling on that fish for so long and then losing it, especially being spooled. I guess fortunately I've never had that problem, but always wanting to think ahead. You know, you got to fish, and I fish with a Talica 20 and a Talica 25 for the big fish. what do you do when that fish just takes off and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop? And, I set my drags with a scale and have the crew check them out, and I try and fish them as heavy as I possibly can. I mean, do you really just start putting more pressure on the drag?
That's something that, oh man, you don't want to do it too early on, and then you end up breaking it off. I don't know, especially in the last several years, how many fish we see get down to like 15 or 20 wraps where you're just, you're puckered up, this is it. And a lot of times, if there's a savvy crew on the boat, I've seen a lot of my crew members this year stop fish, just leaning on it, dialing up the drag just that much more to where you're 99%, from breaking it, and the fish stops. Sometimes with these bigger fish, and you see yellowfin do it too, is you start cranking down the drag and they speed up, which is still, it's mind-boggling. You got this big fish on there, you got, heavy gear, 25 pounds of drag, and you start increasing it, and the fish start speeding up, and it's just like, it's just a wow. The charter master had an older Abbott, a big, 2-speed, 80-pound setup, and you could actually smell it from down the rail.
That's crazy.
It had been a while since that reel seen that kind of action, and it's just your best bet is when you get down 30 wraps. If you can start seeing the spool, you're way, way better off breaking it off and salvaging your spectra.
Sure.
You're not, that fish isn't dragging around 500 yards of line, which is going to end up killing it anyway. Chances are, if you do that, it's going to break out of connection. It might break at your mono to your spectra or your fluorocarbon. Best case scenario is it breaks at the hook, which I think happens a lot. You see guys do that. They button it down. They wind everything in but the hook. And that is best case scenario on your part and saving your tackle and for the fish. I mean, fish has to swim around with a hook in its mouth for a little bit and probably shakes it off or it rusts out. And, he goes on to fight another day. So that'd be my route.
So you have been around it. Well, you're around it every day now with these big fish. I was in my mind, I was thinking, you spent all that time on the XL. You've been around plenty of big fishing. People get it stopped, and now you do that same caliber of fishing every day on the Tribute with all these big ones. I know long range wise, I'd see a lot of guys when when the fish is going and you're in fear of it, is keeping the rod like super high and super straight. Is that still a method that is used to slow a fish down, or are you just waiting and praying? Is it him? Because the tendency a lot of times when a fish is pulling a ton of line, you see a lot of guys just point the rod right at the fish because that's the easiest thing to hang on to, and that's not necessarily what's putting the most amount of leverage on the fish to get it to stop.
At that little bit of bent rod or a lot, if the fish's out on the surface and you're leaning back on it, it's amazing that little bit of difference. You see it a lot of times. A crew member will grab some guy's rod who's in the process of getting spooled, and the first thing they do is, the rod straight up, leaning back on it, even using your body weight, just leaning back on that fish. A lot of times you see them stop. If you're fishing shallow water, that's one thing. The fish isn't going to go down. Like if you're fishing Clarion or even the Hurricane Bank, stuff like that, the fish can't go down; it goes out. A lot of this big bluefin, some of it we're fishing, in 50 to 200 fathoms. That's one thing. But a lot of the stuff's in deep water. If that fish wants to go straight down, same kind of deal. Put the rod on the rail, bend that thing, and hope for the best.
Yeah, got it. Good deal. Hey, well, that's a great question, Don. We appreciate you getting us started this morning. Thanks a lot.
Let's go to Hills. Hills calling from Ventura. Good morning and welcome. Let's talk hookup this morning, Hills.
Hey, good morning, guys. I have fished on the Tribute several times, and one time we went, me and my buddy Chava, and we didn't really have the best trip as far as catching anything. And me and Chava talk about it. We go, what do we want to go on next time? And Chava goes, I want to go on the Tribute again, man. That's a great boat. They're great people. And I go, you know what? Me too. So then I think the next trip was day after Thanksgiving a couple of years ago, trip that Mike referred to, man. Best trip ever. Boat limits, crew, passengers, 40-pounders, yellowfin, and just the great thing. But, hey, Mike, how many of your guys have a background in being a mechanic or a engineer? Because, it's like going to the doctor or a lawyer. When you go on those boats, you have this feeling of confidence. These guys know how to fix everything. You're out in the middle of nowhere. do you guys commonly you're able to fix everything?
You know what? If you spend enough time on one of these things, and this is something going back to Bill Poole, who, you know, rest in peace. One of the greatest of all time. The first boat I ever ran was the Excel. It was a 7-day, but I remember leading up to it. Bill said you cannot run the boat till you know how to fix the boat. So that gives a lot of younger guys incentive. My guy Tyler, who just ran this last trip, has been with me for I think 5 years now, and you know you get more and more in depth into it. And when if there's something that we can't do, and there's a mechanic down there, an electrician down there, a refrigeration guy down there, if it's something that's out of our hands, we're standing over their shoulder. So I probably do 80% of our electrical, refrigeration, whatever mechanical we have. One of the greats who has retired here lately, Tom Dale. Anytime he was down, I actually, when he was doing some work on the Excel 25 years ago or something, I asked him if I could follow him around on days off just to, learn from firsthand experience. And I never got around to it. I wish I would have. But a lot of it is, and it's funny if you see a crew member that's been doing this for 10 or 15 years and they have no idea about electrical or mechanical or, even paint, then you need to start questioning. And you're like, okay, well, you must be one of those guys who doesn't want to do boat work, because whether you like it or not, if you've been on a boat long enough, it's forced into you.
It really goes hand in hand. And being a boat owner, if you're not a gopher for the mechanic, you're paying that guy how many hundreds of dollars an hour to go get screws or go get something that's...
If there's somebody down on the boat, Woody's our electrician. He's somehow slowly become our mechanic too, but I think that was out of default. But when they're down on the boat, there's somebody helping them. And even if it's something simple, I need a 7/16 open-end wrench, or, go down and grab some 12-gauge wire out of the electrical box. These are all things that you slowly pick up on. And if you don't, if you're ever going to own a boat, you have to be able to do a majority of it. I remember years ago, just thinking, like, there's some guys in our industry. Dean Adams was one of them. I said, the guy can do absolutely everything. Yeah. He's a great welder. He knows refrigeration, electrical, mechanical. I was like, see, you got guys like Jim Hughes, same deal, that you hardly ever see somebody else working on their boat because they've picked up everything throughout the year. And you're going to it might save your business over the years just by being able to do your own maintenance.
Well, I like what you said. You learn more in this world holding a flashlight than a lot of things. Like, holding the light and grabbing a wrench for somebody who knows what they're doing. You can pick up most of it, like you say, to get you by, and doing enough get you bys gets you familiar enough with the machinery that you can probably take care of just about anything.
As long as you're not staring at your phone.
Yeah.
we have a diver that we've been using, Joey Beltram, and if he's down there, the first thing he'll look at the crew and he goes, "Put your phone down." And I said, "Hey man, you're getting like first-hand schooling here. Put your phone down."
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, that's a great one. Hey, with that said, we're going to head down south, find out what's biting in the Baja. We got John Ireland from Rancho Leonero standing by this morning. Buenos dias, John.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Rick. Hi, Corey. Hello, Mike. Well,
good morning, buddy.
Good morning. It's unbelievable. This November, the fishing this month was better than September, October. It's fishing. It's hard to predict, but the water's down to about 80 degrees now, and the bite is really on. The fishing's been very, very good. The weather's been cooperating as well. Not our normal heavy north winds. It's been pretty light, and every day's been fishable for the last couple weeks. Right now, the bill fishing's really the story. A lot of striped marlin mixed with a few sails. They're right off of between the lighthouse and Punta Colorado, 2 to 5 miles off the beach, pretty close. And in fact, all boats that are targeting are getting multiple releases, at least 2 or 3 fish per day they're releasing. So real good billfish action, and some big stripers. Gosh, there's some that were 225, 250, some real whoppers, some tuggers. And the cooler the water gets, the harder they pull too, as you know. The warmer the water slows them down a little bit. But real good bill fishing. and a Dorado bite as well. We've had probably the best Dorado fishing we've had all year. Real good, consistent bite. Everybody's limiting. Not real big fish, 5 to 15 pounders are real common, with the occasional 30, 35 pounder mixed in. The larger ones are being taken on the ballyhoo, and that's what most of the billfish are taken on too. Slow-trolled rigged ballyhoo. And both the marlin and the bigger Dorado are loving those and picking those up. That seems to be all year long. That's been the bait of choice. They're even actually throwing these dead ballyhoo instead of the normal bait, and they're picking them up. Dead fish and all. The marlin, the billfish really love the ballyhoo. Anyway, the Dorado, larger Dorado, being picked up on the ballyhoo as well. Slow troll in the same areas as the marlin. The Dorado are off of Rincon, right up there against the park boundary, the Pomo Park boundary, and then over to Punta Colorado, kind of the same areas as the billfish. And roosterfish are around too. Normally they're not around at all in November, and they're around in good numbers. Mostly smaller fish, again 3 to 15 pounders, but they're mixed in. There's a couple of gorillas that are getting released in the past week. And some on fly, most on the big sardine. We're getting a lot of real good bait right now available. Big sardine for the Dorado and the roosterfish. So overall, pretty darn good fishing.
That sounds like an awesome September report.
Yeah, it's surprising. Normally it's pretty dead, and also the hotel's much busier than normal too for this late in November. So we're happy. Everything's good, you guys.
We were saying it's just like up in here. October didn't do what October's supposed to, but we're getting that now, and it sounds like it's the same thing down at the ranch. Well, certainly glad to hear it. If somebody wants to get in on this great late season fishing, is there still an opportunity to come down and join you this year?
Absolutely. Come down for Thanksgiving. 800-646-2252 or rancholeonero.com.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate it very much, John. Great report. Glad to hear things are going so great at the ranch, and we'll talk to you next week.
You will for sure, Corey, Mike. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Well, hey, we had a great text come through from our text the show, and this one is for Mike. Says, when during a stop, would you? He's asking Mike personally if you were putting yourself in the angler's shoes, trying to get a bite on the Tribute. When in a stop, do you like to move to the bow to get bit, or do you like to stick with the stern? That's from Chuck in Long Beach. Said he can't make tonight's trip, but he hopes that he wins and can go a day and a half in the future.
Yeah, you know what? It depends. If we're sliding on a spot, you're doing a big chum circle on it, you got to figure there's bait 360 degrees around the boat. A lot of it for me would be access. If you have 15 guys in the corner and you can't get in there and cast a bait properly, even up the side of the boat. I mean, if you can underhand pitch a bait out, or you look in the stern, and we carry a fair amount of people. You got 30 guys on the boat, and if you got 25 of them battling, the stern, you look up the side of the boat and there's nobody in the bow. That's usually you see crew or a captain, operator. That's the first thing they do. And especially if you've been drifting, or we've been drifting for a long time, I'd say 90% of the boats in our fleet drift stern first, which means...
Which stop there, because most people don't even realize that, right?
They
don't.
Some of them, these bigger plank boats like mine, they go almost straight backwards.
Exactly, yes.
And you see all that bait, you're following your line up towards the bow the whole time.
Yes.
That means all the bait's going up towards the bow, all the chum's going up towards the bow. That bow, a lot of times, I'll go up in the wheelhouse to call Let's Talk Hookup or something. You look up off the bow, there's nobody there, and there's fish boiling right under the anchor.
How many times have you called in a report and you say, oh, one just blew up off my bow? I mean, that has happened dozens and dozens of times.
Oh, yeah. No, it's and, this is one thing, and I've talked about it before. We get private, there's going to be private boaters that fish around us, whether we like it or not, or how close. And a lot of times they just don't know. I'll get on the PA and I said, hey, man, you guys are right on top of our lines in the corner. Go, set up 150 feet off the bow. You guys are going to be better off up there. That's where the chum's going. And you seldomly see somebody do it. Usually the first thing they do is leave. I have no problem with guys fishing around us as long as it's not actually interfering with our fish.
Sure.
And I'll say, look, either that or I'll point out a breezer and say, look, you guys just drove over the top of that. Why don't you, come
There's a whole
on
bunch
over there.
right there.
But that bow can be golden.
Yeah, and that's cool. What a lot of people don't realize, that the boat drifts stern first, and the back end of the boat where the chum is kind of circulating would be the bow of the boat.
If you can get bit right away, a lot of times fishing yellowfin, if they're boiling on the corner, that's stern's golden.
Piece of chum that comes in the water. That's the spot to be.
But on a plunker and you've been drifting for 30 minutes or longer, I mean the bow is a golden place.
If you're going to be, it's same thing now with sinker rigs. You go up
going to be my next question.
Go up the side of the boat. Everybody's in the corner. Shane Wrightson's one of our regulars, and he kills it. And I the fact that he has a left-handed reel always pisses us off, because we got to get out of a tangle, and it's straight up upside down. But he gets bit bluefin fishing probably better than just about anybody. And the first thing he does is go straight up the side of the boat, just forward to the gate, and drops a sinker.
That's cool. Yeah. Sorry, Chen, we're giving it away.
You don't always have to be in that corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, great
dope, man. Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely. We're going to be right back with Mike Pritchard from the Tribute when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app in the mightier 1090.
All of us at the American Angler family want to express appreciation to our regular passengers that fish with us year after year, and to the new anglers that came out this last season. We realize how precious your vacation time is, and we are truly grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us. It's important that your experience is memorable, from the moment you call the office to the time you step off the boat. Hi, I'm Lori. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. Come fishing with the American Angler family and make a memory.
All right, it's time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And all this talk about bluefin fishing, Corey, how could you not think Talica two-speed reels with all this great fishing going on, all this? And you know what? Where it really draws the line for me is what Mike was talking about with this mixed grade fishing. When you're going fishing and you don't know if the bait that you fire over the side is going to get eaten by a 40-pounder or a 140-pounder, having a reel that's got the guts and the and mainly the power to turn the handle on a big one is such a big deal.
It is, Rick, and what would you suggest?
I think this time of year, this grade of fishing, I like that Talica 12 and Talica 16. Small reel, still fits in your hand, super nice, easy to cast a bait with, but if you do hook one that's larger than you were intending, you still have the drag and torque to deal with it. It's the right size and the right one. Check them out at your local Shimano dealer. For more information, check out Shimano.com.
Dana Landing in Mission Bay is truly the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Come see our expert fishing staff for just about anything you need for a great day of on-the-water fun. Looking for a fishing charter? Dana Landing has you covered with the Blackjack, perfect for up to 4 anglers, or the Impulse with up to 6. Dana Landing has a huge selection with everything you need to catch small bay bass or giant tuna. We will be sure to set you up with the right gear. We even offer reel repair and Mexican and California fishing licenses. Don't forget the amazing deli at Dana Landing with all the food, ice, and beverages you need to complete your day. Need freshwater tackle? Head to East County Bait and Tackle with all the finest rods and reels, the hottest freshwater lures, and live bait. ECBT has an amazing staff who love to share their passion for fishing. East County Bait and Tackle is located at the end of the 67 freeway on Main Street in Lakeside, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp on San Diego's Mission Bay. Check out DanaLanding.com for more details.
I can't wait to spend some quality time with my son fishing this year, teaching him about casting, how to choose baits, set the hook, and how to be safe on the water by always wearing a life jacket. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, if you've missed the first part of the show, we're having such a great time and giving away one lucky prize to one lucky winner. And that's going to go to a caller or a texter this time, huh, Rick?
Yeah.
So it's a day-and-a-half trip on the Tribute. That's just straight across. Use it any time of the year. But if you can go tonight, let us know. You're taking yourself and a buddy or a spouse or a,
Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding me? That's over $800.
And it's what we were talking about. It's one of the Pizza Port sponsored trips. So free pizza
half
the
price
night
on
departure.
beer.
Yeah, just a really cool opportunity. And you said that trip tonight, it's a definite go. There's a light load.
As of right now, I think there's only a dozen booked, and the boat came in this morning with limits of bluefin.
How much better does it get?
And the
now?
weather is going to be nice.
Yeah, sign.
Oh my gosh!
Sign me up for that.
Hey, drive from L.A. and have free pizza when you get on the boat and half price beer. Sign me up.
Well, you got to roll into Thanksgiving being the cool guy with the sashimi platter.
That's the move right there.
So give us a call 213-432-1090. That's your chance, or send us a text via the app.
You got it. With that said, Corey, let's find out what's biting out there.
I think we need to. And hot ticket and local tuna has been the Gamakatsu Nautilus Circle Hook in size 2 and 4, perfect for the finicky yellowfin and bluefin. From the Nautilus Light, the regular Nautilus, or the new Nautilus HD. Having the ability to choose the right size circle hook is key. And with Gamakatsu Nautilus, you have that choice and the confidence you are getting the finest hooks made. Stock up on the Gamakatsu Nautilus circle hooks at select tackle shops now.
You got it. Hey, let's kick off that catch report with Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. Talk to the man, Captain Brian Woolley's on the line. What up, Woolley?
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, boys. What's happening? Good stuff this morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, more good fishing this week up here for us across the board. You know, for November along the coast here, it was pretty much what you'd expect for, you know, where we're at on the calendar. Both our 3/4 day and our half-day trips fished down below off North County there, Camp Pendleton, in like the 35 to 60 fathom zone, targeting rockfish and bottom fish. I'd call it was steady action for us all week, you know, with nice mixed bags of fish. Some guys did better than others on the reds, you know, had no problem catching their share of that on the sardine or the whole squid, and other anglers had nice mix of whitefish and sculpin for their efforts on the strip baits and the rubber lures and things like that. We had great conditions this week, you know, not a whole lot of current, and it was pretty calm all week, so that worked out good for us. You know, we didn't need heavy sinkers or anything like that, too complicated. It was pretty basic, so it was just a good standard week of fishing out in that deeper water. Over at Clemente, the Fury kept the ball rolling for him over there. You know, there was more of that great rockfish in the bags for his guys, along with plenty of whitefish. They download on that stuff yesterday. I had like 190, almost 200 of those things. They saw some good hits on the bonito as well. That fish bit good for a few days there this week too. And then the live squid has been the key over there for that yellowtail. They bit well for the Marcus yesterday on his trip. They put close to 30 of those fish on the boat over there. You know, and this isn't like slouchy grade yellowtail. This is like solid mid 20 to 30 pound fish. So a good grade of island yellowtail for Marcus. In fact, I think today he's fishing his last trip of his season. They left last night, so I think he's hopefully he goes out with a bang today. No new news on our halibut front. You know, we had to put a temporary pause on our drift trips. You know, with the area still closed down here from that lame oil spill deal, we're you know, we feel like we just can't fish it effectively the way we need to. So for the rest of this month, we're pausing our drift trips. We'll pick those back up in December. But you can still buy in on any half or 3/4 day trip. You know, with us, we've seen plenty of nice halibut come out in that deeper water in seasons past. So there's still a shot at that stuff out there, but we just can't drift it in the zones where we need to make it viable and you know, and fair to all of our anglers. So we'll pick that back up in December. So we've got boats running all week. Yeah, we just adapt what we do, try and make it work. So
that's what we do.
Yep. That's the name of the game. So all week except Thursday, you know, we'll be closed on Thursday. But if you guys want to hop on a trip here, call the landing. Our number is 949-496-5794. Of course, you can link us there through the Let's Talk Hookup page or check us out at danawharf.com.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate it very much, Willie. Great report as always. And we will look forward to another one next weekend and want to wish you and the whole crew and everybody up there a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Ricky. You guys too, man. We'll hang up here and listen to the rest of it. Someone's stoked on that prize today, man. Hopefully they can get out there with those guys tonight.
With limits of fish going on, pretty darn cool. Willie, great job. Appreciate it, and we'll look forward to talking next week.
All right, boys. Have a good Thanksgiving. See ya.
Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, while we're waiting for Gundy to get rolling through, Corey, why don't we jump back into the phones?
Let's do it. How about Wayne? Wayne from Orange County. Good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup, Wayne.
What's up, Wayne?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call. Regarding the fisherman that got spooled on one of Mike's boats, Mike, what would you recommend in terms of type of line, the recommended poundage of that line, the line on your rig. Thank you. I'll take your answer off the line. Thank you.
Thanks, Wade. So it sounded like he's breaking up a little bit about there, but he was wanting to know the type of setup that would be appropriate for pulling on a big fish like that, type of line, like what could be done to avoid a getting spooled scenario like that. What's the right size line and the appropriate amount of it to have on the reel for big fish fishing?
Which is a great question.
Sure.
Well, hooking smaller fish would probably be the easiest way to go about it. But
or using bigger tackle.
You know what? A lot of the guys that have been fishing, and you see a lot of this on the forums, and I know, the long-range sport fishing forums, and you hear a lot of guys saying, well, I've landed, a 140-pounder on 50-pound braid. Well, okay, you can.
Right.
But why? And not only that, 90% of the time, especially with these bluefin, you're not going to do it. You want a heavy setup, regardless of, the brand or reel. 80 to 100-pound is something. And this, I think, we talked about on the show maybe 5 years ago. A 60-pound setup on a 1 or 1.5 day trip isn't heavy anymore.
Yeah.
You used to see a guy bring out, and depending on how far back you want to go, like a old TLD 2-speed with a 60-pound on it, and you tell him, you're like, well,
you chuckle.
What are you doing with that?
Trolling outfit here? What are you doing?
And now you look down the side, and we do this with some of our charters too, and you got to kind of play it by ear and judge whether you're going to be fishing kelp fish down the beach or fish out west. You look down the side of the boat and you only see a couple of 2-speed reels, and you're like, all right, well, we're not we're not going to go out west. And we found out the hard way. We had a BPG charter. It was a 3.5 day earlier, a couple of months ago. And they normally rented gear, which I highly recommend from our landing. And they had went out and bought all new gear. They did not have Spectra available at the tackle shop, so they did all straight tied. A lot of them were pin fathom 2-speed reels, which would have been fine. But without backing on it, I don't know how many times we got spoiled. It was just ridiculous. But you want something that comfortably fishes 80 or 100 pound. You don't want, your a small, and I won't, any of the small 2-speed reels now, the technology is just, it's there, but it's not, you're not going to pull on a big fish. You're not going to have 500 yards of 100-pound Spectra and a decent top shot on it. You're going to be maxing it out. So, go to a 20 or 30 size reel, something, and it, especially Rick knows, it's a game changer when you're up on the bow 2 hours into a fight. You can put that thing on the rail, put it in low gear, and actually start making progress on it. Whether it's a Shimano, Kuma, any of them. You have that extra torque, the ability to put heavier line on it. And, if rail rods have become pretty much the norm now, but you want a rod that fishes, that will fish 130 pound comfortably.
There's always the balance of you got to fish a reel that's small enough that you can cast it and get a bait out and all of these things, but you're going, if it's your quote-unquote big fish outfit, and that's what your goal is, to go on the Tribute and catch a big one, 150-pounder or 200-pounder, there is no replacement for physical size, for a bigger reel. Just like Mike said, with Talicas and all of the other great 2-speeds that are out there, there is so much more torque that was available than there were in the old days, but there's just like a motor. There's no replacement for displacement. A Talica 20 is so much easier to turn the handle on than a Talica 12, and a 12 is so much easier than a 10. And when sure, it's nice to fish a light reel that's small, that casts good, but if you're fishing for big ones, you need to fish for big ones.
And why set yourself up like being behind before you even put a bait in the water?
Guys do it all the time just to get bit. I mean, when I called in last week, we had a guy hook one on 40 pound, and I was just like,
why?
And it lasted for about 3 minutes. Our landing tackle, whether it's you're doing the Italica or the TLD. Our hook to land ratio on our rental gear, and I've talked about this a lot. I don't know how many new anglers have come out, never fished big fish before, never caught a tuna, and you see them hook, the fish in a sinker rig. Last week, the 150-pounder, the first big one on the boat, when I called the landing, they knew exactly who it was. They had rigged him up. It was a TLD 2-speed on 80-pound. Fresh line. They actually rigged up the flat fall that he got bit on. We killed it. We got it.
Great.
And a lot of these guys, and I'm saying the same thing last week, is your chance of hooking a fish of a lifetime is there.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, you skimp on a $25 to $40 combo on the trip, and that would have changed everything.
Right, and these all of our SoCal landings, well, San Diego primarily with these outfits that you're talking about, have an entire crew. There's 3 guys at Seaforth, there's 3 guys at Fisherman's that their entire job for the day is tending to the gear. Like, it is maintained to top notch.
Yep, the 2 fish that we landed on that trip last week, one was on I think an Akuma 22 speed, same kind of deal. And you see that compared to the guy next to him that's pulling on a single speed reel, and you still see it. A guy will come out with a steel spooled 4-aught or a 6-aught, and you're like, man, that thing belongs on a shelf.
150 pounder on a Makaira 20 is not easy. It's still difficult. You replace that reel with something that's
it was
that
over
size.
2 hours.
You that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not easy no matter what tackle you hook it on, but you give yourself the crutch of having something even smaller. It borders on not, and you said it best. There's always anomalies in all these things. There's plenty of people. Everybody's got the story. I saw a big one get landed on this. Well, for every one that gets landed on 40 pound, there's 100 that get lost on it. And
it's it might be tougher to get bit. And same thing, it was a Makaira 20, and it was over 2 hours. I mean, the guy had the perfect setup, and I think the fish, we taped it at 195 conservatively. I'm sure it was over 2. And there were another gentleman on that trip approached me, and he goes, "Hey man, can you cut this leader off and straight tie my flat fall for me?" And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Well, I'm not getting bit." I said, and it's something that we've learned with this flat fall fishing. Straight tied 80 pound isn't heavy.
It's not
straight tied 100 pound isn't heavy. A lot of those jigs, when we were first dropping them down, you're like, you didn't even come tight on it. They're swallowing them. You see a lot of them where the jig comes out of the gill and snags the side of the fish or whatever. And it is worth every bit of it when you finally get bit and everything's working right for you.
We're literally eating the jig, and the jig went through the gills.
We've seen that several times.
Really?
So even in some of those cases, that 3-foot leader is not long enough, and it'll be right at the swivel or something. But the teeth on those big bluefin, like it makes
it's no joke.
It'll make 80 pound look like nothing. If they start shaking their head, it's done.
And a big fish in the dark at night, 300 feet down, your leader does not affect you getting a bite at all. I'm certain of
You see some of those jigs. I know Markland was one of them. You start seeing some of those flat falls that have like 12 hooks on them. I said, look, if they're going to eat that jig, they don't care about that swivel.
Yeah, if a knife jig is 12 inches long and there's 6 hooks dangling off of it in the dark, 300 feet down, I promise you, whether you have 80 pound tied to it or 200 pound to it, not a bit of difference. Like, that thing's going to get eaten one way or
regardless.
The other. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
All right. Well, hey, let's jump back into the phones.
Let's do it. How about Brian? Brian from Wildemar. Good morning. Welcome. Let's talk Hookup this morning.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys. Good morning to you. How you doing this morning?
Great.
Doing awesome.
Okay, cool. Just making sure you got me. Pete, get well soon. I know with that new hip, we can be rock and rolling. And all right, cool. Yeah, Pete, with that new hip, we'll be rock and rolling on those on those waves pretty soon. So get well soon, buddy. Mike, well, in general question, what's the latest with the smog thing going on with the boats? That was my question. What was the latest on that? If we had an update on that. And
you know what?
If you were going tonight, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, and then if you were going tonight, what would you need to bring? I always give the guys a hard time. I call about me and my son, and I'll make it happen.
You know what? I would bring any gear anywhere from 25 pound on up to the heaviest gear you have, especially fishing out west like it is now. You never know if it's going to be, 15 to 25 pounders. You want to be able to fly line 25 pound. Bring your fluorocarbon, bring your circle hooks, bring an assortment of sinkers anywhere from 4 ounces on up to 8 ounces, some rubber bands for your sinkers. And then, an assortment of your knife jigs, your flat falls, and everything else. Like I said, make sure you have heavy leaders on them. 150 to 200 pound would be a minimum for your heavier gear. And as far as the carb thing goes, I know Sack just had a meeting with them day before yesterday. Didn't make that one. Made the one before it. Everybody can play a part in it as far as doing. emailing Carb, emailing Governor Newsom, and just trying to stress the fact that this is, and I don't know, without going too far overboard, you can see what's going on with the trucking industry. They went out on a limb and pushed back, or got rid of a lot of the older tier engines, and here we are sitting with not enough vehicles on the road to deliver the goods for Christmas. And if they pass this with our industry, it'd be detrimental. So
I'll just jump in just for the sake of you hearing too, Brian. In case you missed the show yesterday, we had Captain Tim Ekstrom on, and we covered it at quite a bit of length yesterday. And it is still very, just like Mike said, it is very, very important for all of us to be as active as we can. As an angler, I would jump on savefishing.com. I would jump on the CCA website. I would jump on SAC's website as far as getting yourself best informed and best able to help out, sign petitions, all that kind of stuff. It is an extremely quick paraphrasing synopsis from Tim yesterday. He said that a lot of very good comment was delivered. It was a ton of effort in terms of just waiting for the time to be heard. They were only given about 1 minute and 30 seconds for their opinions to be heard, but lots of guys brought up tons of points. The biggest negative issue was that the Carb board was working with a lot of, just call it what it is, false and poor information in terms of the actual emissions that are being produced by the sport boats.
That was crazy. Like 162 school buses equal to one sport boat. I mean, really, go back to the app and the archives and listen to yesterday's show.
I think that's the best thing to do it. But what Tim did take away from it on the positive side was that there was several people on the board once hearing, the sport fishing community's info of just like what's going on here. Like it was clearly resonated with several people that they didn't have all the facts in front of them.
Oh, there were false facts.
Clearly
false.
so. So anyways, I think that's the best synopsis. But again, I can't agree with Mike more. All of us need to do everything we can to make your voice heard and your opinions heard, and whether that's talking to elected officials, signing petitions, all of it. But again, CCA California, the savefishing.com, and then the SAC's website, californiasportfishing.org would be your best spots for that info.
That's a great way to do it, Rick, and good luck to you, Brian. And we want to go to Bill?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's do it. No, it's not time, but such an exciting time going on. We're going to go live to Captain Bill Kavanaugh on board the Intrepid right now. Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Great. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I just wanted to call in with a report. We're finishing up a 14-day trip here on the Intrepid. I called in on your show. I think it was a week ago today. I think it was Sunday. We have this quandary of a trip where we're going to end up. I think we're going to end up fishing 15 days on a 14-day. I'm not really sure how it worked out, but I think we ended up fishing 15 days. But we had that incredible fishing on the ridge when I called in with my report last week, and then literally, I think it was about a half an hour after I got off my call with you, we found a kelp offshore and just wide open Dorado. Aquarium-style Dorado fishing, and then we got ourselves all situated to go down and take a look at the lower banks, try to find some bigger ones, and we located some bigger fish, and it was really cool fishing. We were down there for 3 days, and we were having shots at big ones every single day. It was pretty impressive, to say the least. It was kind of like what you hope for on one of these trips. It's like we were getting shots every day at fish that were primarily 200 pounds up to 300 pounds. And, when you're in that situation, you're in that setup, we had quite a few fish that, we had some heartbreaking losses. We had quite a few hook pulls. We had some chafes where we broke off. We had random spectra blowing up. We had one fish that dumped 3 backups. We had this fish that did not stop. The guy fit on 130 on a 50. And it just kept going. All right, back up. Here we go. That thing went over the side. Okay, it's not going to stop. Second backup. But we put 3 backups in the water on this thing. It never stopped.
Wow.
We were trying to extrapolate how much line was in there. We had about a mile of line in the water with 3 rods with buoys attached to them. And unfortunately, that was another heartbreak loss. But to cut to the chase, last morning we had enough time to give it a morning before we took off. I almost didn't stay, but it's just like, you know what? You don't get these opportunities very often. We're going to stay one last morning, and we hooked 2 big ones. We landed both of them. The first one that came over the rail taped out at 303. We were pumped. That was our first 300-pounder for the time spent down there. And then the next one we got on the boat, and it taped out at 394.
Oh, my gosh. Incredible.
And, yeah, we're pumped. We have this giant mat. And so we got these 2 fish on the deck our last morning down in the lower banks in beautiful flat calm water. The water's 78 degrees, the air temp's 82, not a cloud in the sky. We got these 2 giant fish laying on the back deck, and the 300-pounder looks small in comparison to this other one. It's just like, wow, this is crazy. I was kind of analyzing this fish, and, you know, we don't have an official scale on the boat, so we're just doing a tape job. Tape job is, you know, there's a formula, length times girth squared divided by 800, and it gets you pretty close, but it's a ballpark figure. There's a lot of variables in relation to the proportion of the fish, and I'm looking at this big one, and it just had, like, a bunch of girth all the way through the tail section. So, you know, my tape job was 394. I got a pretty strong feeling that this fish is going to go over that 400-pound mark.
Oh my God, that's so exciting!
I saw that picture this morning, and if the one up the rail is 300 pounds, that other one's a good one.
It truly dwarfs it.
Oh yeah,
I saw it too, Bill. It's
the
so
other one
cool.
doesn't look like a 300-pounder.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best, Bill. I hopefully that makes the mark. It's a good one.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. We're stoked. But I mean, just our time down there was awesome. You know, you're down there, and at any time you cast a bait out, you have an opportunity of hooking a 200 or a 300-pounder. It's pretty awesome.
Man, that is just spectacular. You did such a great job painting the picture. I think everybody listening can just close your eyes and put yourself in that lower banks fishing is pretty special. It's very clean fishing, at least usually, you know, no sharks and things like that, and just spectacular. Well, an awesome report, and we can't wait to hear about the big fish. When does the Intrepid come back home? When can we get a chance to come on down and see you guys string that thing up and see if she goes over?
We get in at 4:30 tomorrow morning at Point Loma Sport Fishing. I already got this all planned. I had a couple meetings with my staff, and this is what's going to happen. We're pulling that big one first thing. We're going to be back on the pier at about 5 o'clock. That thing goes in a cart up to the scale, and it's going up on the scale right away. So probably about 5:15. We're going to be weighing that thing up at about 5:15 tomorrow morning.
Okay,
wow,
buddy. Well,
how exciting.
Congratulations on a fantastic trip. And if somebody wants to get a cool early start to the morning and swing down before work and see one of the, you know, what has potential to be one of the, already is one of the biggest yellowfin tuna ever been caught in the world, period. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at Point Loma Sport Fishing. And man, congratulations. What a great trip, and congrats to the angler and you and the crew and the whole nine.
Yeah, like I said, everybody's pumped. You know, reflecting on this whole thing, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, you're going to know as well as I do, but I believe there's only been 2 yellowfin tuna over the 400-pound mark caught amongst the San Diego fleet. Mike Lackey on the Vagabond, Justin Fleck on the XL. To my knowledge, in the San Diego sport fishing fleet, those are the only 2 over 400 pounds. So pretty historical moment for us if this thing makes that 400-pound mark.
And if it doesn't, it's still one of the coolest big fish ever. So I'm crossing my fingers that it goes, and I just can't wait, man. We're really pumped and excited to see the big one.
As are we. You guys, I got to go. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Top of the morning, Mike. And, we're stoked. We're looking forward to tomorrow morning. You guys take care.
Awesome.
Good luck,
buddy.
Oh, man. Hey,
Cool.
if that does not get you fired up, man.
Yeah, right?
5:15 tomorrow morning, Point Loma Sport Fishing, the Intrepid, Captain Bill Kavanaugh. Hey, listen, you're listening to Southern California Sport Fishing Voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup. We're going to be right back. More from Mike Pritchard on the Tribute when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app and a mightier 1090.
If you are going fishing on your trailer boat, make Summit Gasoline your first stop. Easy in and out with your trailer with almost 2 acres at the San Diego Sports Arena parking lot. Summit has what you need. Gourmet coffee, beer, ice, bait, fishing license, discount San Diego and Mission Bay live bait certificates, and the lowest price on gas. For a limited time, tell them you heard this, and you will get 100 pounds of ice free with the minimum of 35-gallon purchase. You heard right, 100 pounds of ice free. There is no better place to get your gas and load up on everything you need than Summit Gasoline at the Sports Arena. Easy access to Dana or Shelter Island launch ramp. Summit caters to boats and trailers. Try them once, and you'll be back. Live bait certificates at a discount, beer, coffee, food, ice, and the lowest gas prices. It's your first stop before fishing. 100 pounds of ice free with a minimum purchase. Summit Gasoline. Easy in and out with your boat and trailer and more at the San Diego Sports Arena.
This is Art Taylor from Searcher Sport Fishing. Celia and I and the rest of Team Searcher would like to thank all of our loyal customers for their support. Searcher has air-conditioned cabins, great food, an RSW system to preserve your catch, and a fantastic crew. If you're looking for an affordable fishing adventure, a chance to catch a fish of a lifetime, our 2022 schedule is available now. Book your reservation online at searchersportfishing.com or call Celia or Aaron at 619-226-2403.
San Diego, do you need a vehicle that's built ready for your next adventure? Well, your San Diego County Ford dealers have you covered with the 2021 Ford Ranger. This adventure-ready truck is built with durable features like its frame-mounted step bumpers and high-strength steel frame. But that's not all. The Ford Ranger also has an available terrain management system with 4 selectable drive modes depending on what terrain you're on for optimum performance. Looking to tow your boat or trailer to your next adventure? No problem. The 2021 Ford Ranger can handle that too and has smart technology like Bliss with trailer coverage to assist changing lanes and makes driving so much better when towing your boat or trailer. Visit your nearest San Diego County Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com to learn more. That's buyfordnow.com and they'll be glad to hook you up.
Here's John Ireland for Rancho Leonero.
The main emphasis on the ranch, we're going to keep it old style. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to improve what we have. The kitchen is brand new kitchen this year with all new kitchen equipment, new stoves, ovens. We put a new freezer in. We've put in all brand new split air conditioners with thermostats to make sure every room is cold. We've also worked on the boat fleet with a couple large lures, a 31 and a 34. We've got the largest Super Ponga fleet on the East Cape, all with brand new Yamaha motors. Brand new beds. We've got all Serta beds, the best beds in Baja, I kid you not. We're working all the time at the ranch. We're not changing it, just making it a lot better. That's why we get the high TripAdvisor reviews. It's my responsibility. I got to take care of you. I'll personally guarantee your best fishing experience and vacation at Rancho Leonero. RanchoLeonero.com. Our new reservation phone number is 800-646-2252, 646 Baja.
The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Hi, this is Doug Kern. Our hardworking crew will make sure your fishing experience is one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. Fisherman's Landing is a full-service operation offering great half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day open party trips on the spacious and comfortable Liberty. Since we introduced the full-day trips at Fisherman's Landing, the 85-foot Liberty has become a favorite among full-day operations with bunks for your comfort, huge bait capacity, and RSW fish holds to keep your catch fresh. Plus, Liberty has a big modern galley and 2 interior heads with showers. All our open party trips from half-day, full, or 1 to 3 day trips can easily be booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call at 619-221-8500. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.